Hi, welcome to Filmaginations, a podcast about your favorite TV series and films. Every few weeks, I will cover a different one and take a deep dive into what happens on the screen and what my favorite moments are. I'm going to discuss Karppi for the last time and focus on the third season of the series, as well as a bit of behind-the-scenes content. You know what's most important about this season? Nurmi has a beard now, and a new car, but beard is more important. We start with a new boss, a woman this time, Rautama. She's on the field with Nurmi. No sign of Karppi just yet. The case we follow this season begins when they find a woman in a cage at a former animal hospital. Once they're done looking, the lady boss asks Nurmi to deliver papers to Karppi. She needs to sign them and get back to work. Her suspension already ended. It has to happen in person, as she refused to sign them when they were delivered by post. Nurmi is not happy about that. He doesn't want to confront her. I love how his body and his facial expressions perfectly explain his attitude. It's nice when actors know how to show emotions with their body language. Nurmi gets to where Karppi is staying, an island. The tension between our duo is back, for different reasons than before though. I like that outside Nurmi does once he gets out of his car. He's trying to calm himself before he speaks to her. Karppi signs the papers without a fight and starts analyzing case files. She finds a sign on the victim's body that helps with the investigation. And of course, they eventually mention Hannah's arrest and how they both disappointed each other. Karppi is mad because she feels that he shouldn't have arrested Hannah behind her back, but she already knew about the crime and didn't do anything about it. So I'm not sure letting her know beforehand would have helped. That's also what Nurmi says. I think she would have tried to stop him, to do anything to help Hannah, seeing how stubborn she is. But of course we can't know what would have happened, we only know what did happen. Sofia shows at the office and is warmly welcomed. We find out that the victim was Tuli Siren. She worked for a medical company called Memphi. She was a lead researcher on a drug that was supposed to treat drug addiction. She had a son, Ossi. Karppi says she wants to see the crime scene and Nurmi is not happy he has to take her there. He only goes because their boss tells him to. Karppi carefully observes the place and it's then called by Nurmi. They have to go. The police found the victim's car. I like the scene in the car when Karppi shows Nurmi what happened to Tuli. It's like they are back at it again. However, things are not yet back to normal. Nurmi is still very reserved, even more than her. They go to visit Tuli's sister, Sana, who also works at Memphi as a chemist. Did you notice how Karppi said, "I'll take care of it" to Raisa? It stood out to me because she is clearly saying there is no we as of right now. She delivers bad news to the sister. Nurmi just stands there watching and only speaks up once. His theory is that someone against animal testing might have killed Tuli. Karppi disagrees. They go their separate ways as Karppi announces she's picking up Hannah from prison. It shows just how uncomfortable the topic is for both of them. He offers her a ride, but she says he's done enough, and that's that. Karppi finds out that Hannah has already left and meets her close to her apartment. It's awkward between them, but Hannah seems to be doing okay. She already found a job. But it seems like she really wants Karppi to leave her alone. I have to say I'm not a fan of the way Hannah's character is portrayed this season. It's hard to understand what's going on with her. I'm glad Emil seems to be doing well though, spending time with his grandpa. While Karppi talks to her daughter, Nurmi delivers bad news to the victim's son, Ossi. He lives on a boat and he is a drug addict. He accepts the news and we move on to Hannah for a moment. She's getting harassed by her boss, but she knows she probably can't find another job, so she pushes through it. After the examination of the body, it is noted that the marks onto his back were made post-mortem. She was killed the same way the test animals are killed. Nurmi and Karppi argue as they have different ideas regarding who is responsible. He points out that she's been gone a year and a half, and it seems it wasn't easy for him without her. But he doesn't say that out loud, of course. We jump to Hannah again, and we see her being offered a different kind of job by a girl, Venny, who used to work at the same place. Hannah refuses, but soon she will change her mind as her boss will begin physically abusing her. Back at the precinct, everyone is wondering if Ossi could have been responsible for his mother's death. They make a decision to look for him, and that's when Peltola, Nurmi, and another officer get injured. Someone was shooting at them. Karppi stayed behind to find a flashlight, so she was not in the line of fire. She helps her colleagues and then chases the subject. I like how she waits for Nurmi's approval before going after him. She is unfortunately unable to catch him. Turns out everyone survived. Nurmi just needed a couple of stitches to his ass, which, thank you to the writers for choosing this place. And Peltola has a broken rib, but nothing more serious. When Karppi is driving home, she gets a phone call about a new body, a man, Olavi Schultz. He is left on the field where we can see the same symbol somebody left on Tully. They have something in common. They were both doctors. We have an unexpected comeback this season. Laura. Looks like she has been drugged and kidnapped a few times. She will eventually be brought to the hospital by the police. That's when we'll discover more about her. As Nurmi and Peltola arrest after the shooting, Karppi, Jeppe, and their boss continue with the investigation. After a short discussion, Karppi ends up at Nurmi's place. She needs her partner to go over the case properly. She also had to give him his car back, as he lent it to her after getting shot. The jokes are slowly coming back. We come to know that the murderer used one of Memphi's cars, and that the new victim was also connected with the company. Ossi is back on the screen. He wants to run away from Finland, forcing his aunt, Tully's sister, to drive him out of the country. He threatens her with a knife, but she gets away. He manages to take a car and tries to escape on Lucas Roya's boat, but he gets killed before he can leave. There is another unexpected thing this season. The topic of Karppi's husband comes back. I could not believe we might possibly get an answer to his death. It all starts when Karppi receives a phone call from an unknown man stating that Cecilia Beatrice killed her husband, and German police knew all along. She's an ambassador's wife, and that's why they covered up the crime. Karppi calls Cecilia and finds out that Jussi was pushed to the road right before her car hit him. So now it seems like it was murder, not an accident. At some point, Karppi asks for traffic surveillance cameras in Germany, where her husband was killed. She needs to get to the truth. Meanwhile, we get another victim, the guy that was going to give his boat to Ossi. He had a live sex chat, and his murder might be connected to that. Nurmi is back at the precinct. He makes coffee for Karppi, and they start to get along again. They stand really close, discuss the case, just like the old times. Karppi is asked by Rautama to see body remains the police have found, and she refuses as she thinks it has nothing to do with the case, but the boss has the last words. Eventually, it appears that everything is connected. We focus on Karppi's private life for a moment. She comes to pick up her son. She wants them to go back to the city. He refuses to go, so after a quick discussion, she lets him stay with his grandpa. At the same time, Henna talks to the officer that arrested her. She wants to give information on her new friend, specifically on the job she was offered. Information in exchange for peace from him. They have a deal. Henna will be asked to drive a van full of medicine very soon. She needs to know the date and location. And I actually have to say, I'm surprised Venny didn't know that Hannah was a snitch with the way she was trying to get that information, constantly asking those questions. But I think she might have been blinded because she liked Hannah. Nurmi visits Laura. She gave his number as her contact. She has an infection, but she should get better with time. She has trouble remembering where the sun is. She has temporary amnesia. He will try to find him. He promises her that. We also indirectly find out who attacked Laura. It was Krista, a guy that worked at Memphis. However, this fact is not known to the police yet. Karppi continues investigating as she visits Tuli's sister. She asks about the process of testing medicine, and she learns that human testing is also a part of it. There was a version of the drug that created the complication with rats. It was supposed to be destroyed. Is it possible that somehow this version was given to humans instead? Before she leaves, Karppi shows Sana the pattern they found on the victims, and asks if she knows it. She claims she doesn't. Nurmi is on the hunt for Leo. He discovers that somebody took him, likely a dealer. He needs to find him. Since Nurmi is busy, Karppi starts working on a case with Jippa, which I enjoyed watching. I think they are quite nice together. They find a place where the killer was trying to dispose of the bodies by dumping them in certain chemicals. It's possible someone was testing the faulty drug on the victims and something went wrong. During the search, Karppi gets a phone call from Nurmi. His son is on a shipping container going to Shanghai. Jippa helps him find the container and Nurmi is able to get to Leo just in time. And Karppi drives there as soon as possible. They are there for each other again. And when the hospital informs them Leo is okay, Karppi starts joking. She's smiling at him for the first time since she came back. She opens up about the details she got on her husband's death. What's interesting is that Nurmi advises her not to share that information with her kids. He says it's better they think he died in an accident. There's a subtle hint he went through something similar as a kid, with the way he phrases it. Krista tries to finish the job and kill Laura at the hospital, but she's able to defend herself. Nurmi and Karppi go to the hospital to investigate. They question her regarding the attacker. She was approached by a man on the street claiming he has a new medicine for drug addicts. He was collecting a test group. She doesn't remember more than that. Karppi talks to the cleaner who saved Laura from the attacker, and with Karppi's help, he is able to identify him. The police put out a search for him, and soon after they find his burning car and Krista himself, killed the same way as the other victims. Back at the office, the team talks about the remains they found earlier. There were junkies who took part in a failed detox test. Laura was the only lucky one to escape. They don't know who else was involved and what was the motive. While having a break and a cup of coffee, Nurmi gets a call from the hospital. Something is wrong with Laura. Unfortunately, she lost the fight and died. Karppi goes to the hospital with Nurmi to see the body, and then she hugs him for comfort. Police officers are waiting for a signal from Hannah. They need to know where the drug delivery will take place. They are about to be disappointed because Venny took Hannah's phone right before the action began. During the robbery, as it usually happens, something goes wrong. The driver saw Venny's face. And that means only one thing. They have to kill him now. Hannah becomes a witness to the murder, which was not in the job description. She then informs Mantilla, her arresting officer, where the body is. He's mad because she put them all in a difficult situation. She has to find out who the buyer is, otherwise she might have to face prison once more, and this time for much longer. After Laura's death, Nurmi and Karppi have a chat in his car. They end up talking about his past, and they land on a tragic incident with his parents. His mom shot his dad, and then herself. He was just 13 at the time. He never found out the reason. He gets emotional. That must have been hard to share. We saw him hesitating as Karppi asked more questions. The tender moment breaks as the man they were waiting for arrives. They get a viable location for the killer's place. It was rented by a guy named Corento. They brainstorm back at the precinct and look at the pictures that might help them find the killer. They find a picture of a girl wearing a necklace with a symbol that has been surrounding this whole case. Seems like Sanna and Ossi met her during a vacation they took together. The girl from the pictures is Nea Parma. She stayed at the same hotel as they did. She asked Ossi to take pictures of her, that's why he had them in his camera. Karppi checks Nea and she learns that she killed herself right before turning 18. Heroin overdose. There is a connection between Tuli and Nea. The girl sought treatment for depression from her. She got sick after her mother died during a routine surgery at the hospital. Nea was living with her uncle, her mom's brother, Joni. He died in a traffic accident. Nea always had the necklace on her, but it wasn't on her the day she died, and now the question is, where is the necklace? Karppi is still investigating her husband's death in her free time. She gets the traffic camera footage from Germany. She finds a truck that was right behind Cecilia's car. Karppi gets the dash camera card, but it's not working, so she asks Hieta, IT guy, for help. He can't do it at the moment, so Karppi goes back to the case. She prints the latest photo of Nea and puts it on a board at the precinct. Nurmi freezes as he sees the picture and is much less responsive to Karppi's comments. She notices that. She's determined that the guy Nea spent her last night with might be responsible for her death. Only problem is that the guy in question is Nurmi himself. I like the exchange they had during that scene. We also have Nurmi briefly hinting that life was really hard after Karppi went on suspension. Everything went to hell. Henna gets invited by Venny to a party. The place they go to is full of people that handle the drug business. Henna tries to get some information on them and what they do. She sneaks to the back and takes a lot of pictures. She almost gets caught both by the bad guys and Venny. But she's safe for now. The thing is, Nea was meeting somebody the day she died, at this exact place. So Karppi and Nurmi go to check it out. They leave after finding out that the place was closed when Nea was supposedly there. Right before driving away, Karppi sees her daughter with Venny. And probably for the first time, Karppi decides to leave Henna alone and not intervene with her life. We don't know what would have happened if Karppi decided to go in after her daughter and talk to her. But what did happen is that Henna tried to leave and she was caught by the bad guys. We can later see her locked in a cage so that the owner of the club can interrogate her. She's not very good at answering questions. That night, Karppi stays with Emil and Nurmi learns that the dashcam footage Karppi was waiting for is ready. He goes to watch it, but he is a bit afraid to see what the video might reveal. After a quick pause, he presses play and sees a woman on the side of the road, right after the accident. She looks much like Karppi, but we can only see her from the back. Did she kill her husband? Rautama finds out about the footage, and now they are both wondering if Karppi is responsible. She might not remember pushing him. Rautama says she needs to be captured. She doesn't trust her. However, Nurmi calls Karppi, warning her that the police will be there to seize her. He explains she's on the footage, and Karppi understands the situation very quickly. She's able to escape, and now Nurmi is in charge of finding her. Karppi doesn't know how to stop, so she keeps investigating on her own. Apparently, Nea's uncle was in a psychiatric ward and died while being transferred to another place. One of the people assigned to Uni was Untje Borg, and Karppi gets his contact information right before Nurmi gets to the facility. She manages to steal Nurmi's car. She drives to Unter's place and finds him barely hanging on to life. Turns out the killer was still in the building. He attacked Karppi, but she was able to escape. She's okay, and she calls the ambulance for Unter once she's out of the house. Nurmi and the boss arrive at the box place not long after. They know Karppi was there. It was funny how Nurmi found his car keys right before leaving the house. Karppi gave back what she stole. Hannah tries to convince a guy that is watching her to let her go, and he's about to, but Venny comes by. She takes Hannah with her to get rid of her in the woods. But she lets her go. She really came to like her. Hannah immediately gives the name and location of the guy in charge to Mantilla, hoping the police will leave her alone now. Nurmi gets a surprise when he gets home. Karppi is there pointing a gun at him. They discuss Karppi possibly killing her husband, and she demands to go to the office and watch the video. Once there, Karppi recalls out loud what happened that night. It's a painful moment. They don't know what to do. She doesn't remember much, and there's no other evidence. But when they analyze the video again, Karppi remembers something. She was on the other side of the road. She couldn't have killed him. She cries with relief as Heta confirms she's innocent, and Nurmi is there to hold her. The case still needs solving. Maybe Memphi accidentally created poison, impossible to trace, and Krista wanted to use it or sell it. They decide to go back to Nea. It all starts with her. They go through her stuff and find a pen drive with a video from a live sex chat she had years back. Krista's voice is on the video. He was using her services. He got a phone call during the live stream and found out after the fact that Nea recorded the whole conversation. He was talking about the poison. Bingo. But they still don't know who he was talking to on the phone. Thanks to Peltola, they discover that Krista was killed by someone other than the rest of the victims. And it looks like it could have been Sanna. Was she the one on the phone with Krista? They go to her house and everything becomes clear. Sanna and Krista created the poison in a private house lab. That's also where Sanna poisons Nurmi and Karppi. Just enough to take their belongings and put the house on fire. Thankfully, they wake up and get out of the building before it's too late. As they recover from what just happened, they joke around with Yippe about his tattoo. Suddenly, Karppi remembers something. Nea had a tattoo that was treated with laser. They dig into it and discover that Nea had an appointment the day she died to make a cover-up. This leads them to the assumption that Nea didn't kill herself, she was murdered. We get a flashback to Nea's last night. She met with Krista, demanding money. He strangled her just enough to knock her out. He asked for Sanna's help, and upon finding heroin in Nea's purse, Sanna came up with a plan. She created a perfect dose to make it look like Nea overdosed. After the flashback, back in reality, we see Sanna getting attacked by the same person that was in Berg's place. The detectives find her, but she dies before they can question her, killed by her own poison. They are still looking for a killer. I like that Karppi questioned the way Nea died. Why would they make it look like a heroin overdose if she wasn't a drug addict? That's when we find out that the drug in Nea's purse came from Nurmi. She stole it from his place. Karppi is shocked. Apparently, he's using a little, from time to time. He gets horrible pain from the radiation, and that's the only thing that helps. With that information out, they assume Corento has one more person to get rid of, Nurmi. Upon digging into Uni's death, Karppi makes up her mind about what happened. He survived the car crash and is after Nurmi now. I love the way Karppi invites Nurmi home. Didn't you listen at all? You'll spend the night on mine. They go out to the balcony and have a drink. They get quiet, the way they do sometimes. Karppi licks her lips, and we know what that means. She kisses him, but it ends abruptly as they see the explosion at his apartment. It's a shame. It was such a perfect moment for them to go further with their relationship. After the explosion, we see Karppi and Nurmi on the couch. Karppi with her feet on Nurmi's leg. It's one of those tender moments between them, when they are close to each other, but not in a sexual way. I love how Jippe comments saying he won't comment. Nurmi announces he's going to a hotel, and Karppi goes with him. Jippe is sniffing something in the air. Once Nurmi wakes up, they discuss the case once more. Karppi pushes on going to the ruins. They might be important. Nurmi is skeptical, but complies. In the car, Nurmi keeps looking at her while she sleeps. They love each other. It's very clear, even if they haven't defined the relationship. Karppi gets an enhanced photo of a woman from the dashcam. She has a birthmark on her neck. That might help exclude Tully as her husband's killer, because by this time we know that Jussi was connected to Memphi. They find a body in the ruins, and when Nurmi goes to the car to get a phone, Karppi gets attacked. She's bleeding, but thankfully the guy runs away as soon as he hears Nurmi coming their way. It was the cleaner from the hospital where Laura was staying. He was using a fake identity, Jonna Corrento. When Karppi gets out of the hospital, they all meet back at the precinct to discuss developments in the case. In the meantime, Juni goes after Emil. He kidnaps him and calls Karppi. She gets into her car as instructed, and Nurmi goes after her. When he loses contact with her, he waits till she's able to contact him again. Moments later, Karppi gets instructions from the killer and meets with Nurmi. And that's when I lost my mind. She shot him twice in the chest and left him laying on the ground. Of course, we leave the scene before we know if Nurmi is going to be okay. Karppi goes to the killer to get her son back, but he's not willing to honor the deal. As he is about to shoot her, someone shoots him. And of course it's Nurmi. What a relief. He asks her if she knew before she shot him that he was wearing a bulletproof vest. And she says no. But of course she would have done anything to save her child. But it still hurts that she would shoot Nurmi knowing he could die. They find Imo alive and well, and they all check into a hotel. Then we arrive at one of my favorite scenes, and possibly my favorite kiss. The tension between them is back. They are both breathing heavily. We have a long pause where they just look at each other, and Karppi makes a move. I love that kiss, the way Karppi hesitates and the way Nurmi waits for her to come close. It was slow, long-awaited, and full of love. But this show is strong on consistency, so as always, they are interrupted. Karppi goes to comfort her son, and the moment is gone. I wonder, what do you think about the relationship? Did you wish they ended up together, or were you satisfied with what we got? Because if I had to comment on that, I would say that I wish, with all my heart, they ended up together. I don't know how it would look like, how would the show go on, but I have to say when I watched the third season, I actually thought there's gonna be another one. I wish they were a couple, but at the same time, I kind of wish it happened in the non-existent fourth season. I think at this point I came to accept that this is all we get. This is their relationship with the complicated feelings coming and going and them not being able to discuss it. So yeah, I accept it now, but it was difficult to swallow at the beginning. With only a few minutes left of the series, we see Karppi finding her husband's phone. It was in his stuff when she was going through them. She looks at his calls and messages with Nurmi and discovers her husband was having an affair. They have no way of knowing who the woman was. Maybe this is the only closure she can get. Karppi eventually changes the subject and announces she needs to take her shooting test, so Nurmi takes her there. And that's how we get to a moment I was really not expecting. Peltola is supervising Karppi's test, and Nurmi is there for support. Things take a turn when Karppi notices a birthmark on Peltola's neck. She admits to sleeping with Jussi, but Karppi is not done yet. She keeps talking, there is more to reveal. Nurmi is in the back, slowly realizing the situation they're in. Peltola is holding a loaded gun. Nurmi eventually takes out his. And then we hear a complete story of the events. I had no suspicions whatsoever that Raisa Peltola would turn out to be the murderer. She was always so concerned with Sofia's well-being. Karppi must have felt so relieved. Her husband's death was left unsolved for years, and now, by sheer accident, she got the answer. We have one last scene near the water before we have to say goodbye to the characters for good. Nurmi will apply for Leo's custody, even though he's not the biological father after all. We have one last hug, and it tells us all that we need to know. Everything is going to be okay, and no matter what happens, we have each other. And of course, Sipe breaks the moment, but I love the way they look at each other before getting into the car, with so much affection. Now their life continues, we just don't get to be a part of it anymore. Thank you all for listening, hope you enjoyed this series as much as I did, and had fun remembering what happened following the 3 episodes. I'll be back in a few weeks. See you then, bye bye.